tax cuts, permanent, all Bush-era tax cuts permanent, would add an additional $4 trillion to the national debt over 10 years. Extending those tax cuts just for the middle class would add an additional $3 trillion to the national debt. Now, starting with Mr. Kelly, your website suggests that if you're elected, you'll fight government waste and pork barrel spending. But even the most optimistic projections of pork barrel spending is that combined they would total less than 0.5%. So could you please tell us what specific savings, where would you find drastic cuts in the federal budget?
Sure. I'll address that, and I'll address it very specifically. The specificity is in the process. Now, when Governor Christie got elected in New Jersey, they asked him the same question. He says, let me get there and I'll figure it out. Let me just do this, because as a business person, you have to look every month at what you do. You have to look at the things that worked and the things that didn't work. You have to determine whether that's the right course to be on or not the course to be on. And I'm always intrigued when people say, specifically, what would you do? Here, specifically, what would I do? I'd tear it apart. I'd tear it apart. I would want to look at everything that we're spending money on. Does it work? Does it not work? Is it something we can improve on? Is it something we should redeploy those funds? Absolutely, there's stuff to be cut. What is it right now? I can't tell you. But I can tell you this. I am always amazed that people take this attitude that you can't expect the government to work the way a business does. And I flip that just the other way. You could never expect a business to work the way the government does. And when we talk about all this savings and all these costs, do you know who the costs are on? The backs of the taxpayers. The government acts like somehow we're taking money from them. The truth of the matter is they are taking money from us. Not just dollars, but pennies. Every single penny that goes into government coffers comes off the backs of tax-paying citizens. So I think we have the wrong point of view here of specifically what would you do, specifically what I would do. I would be the most responsible legislator that was out there. I would measure twice and cut once. I would look at every expense. And is it performing the way it's supposed to perform? Or is this just another one of those government programs that has an endless life? And we just keep adding and adding and adding. So the specificness of it is getting people there that are responsible, that have skin in the game, that have sweat equity, that understand what it means to make payments out of your own pocket, not the taxpayers. And you would look at that. That is a very sacred duty. And that's the way we have to approach this.